Now at 6, tonight's new COVID curfew in New York, plus the warning for New York City parents with children in public schools. But first, breaking news, the vaccine fight turns to New York after the president says our state will not be getting it, at least at first. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Natalie Pasquarello.
And I'm David Ushery. In the past hour, President Trump held a press conference in the Rose Garden to talk about COVID vaccines. The president says it will be free, but will not make it available to New York State. And now we're hearing from Governor Cuomo about that. It was a back and forth. News 4's Rana Novini's been trying to follow it. She's in the newsroom. Rana?
Yeah, David. Well, the president says a coronavirus vaccine will soon be available for distribution, but he says as of now, he will not send the vaccine to New York. President Trump says he doesn't want to send the vaccine to places where government officials will not distribute it to the people. He then singled out New York and Governor Andrew Cuomo. Governor Cuomo has said he wants an independent group of doctors and experts to review any vaccine before distribution. And the governor said minutes ago on MSNBC that he stands behind that independent review, but he says that review should not delay New Yorkers getting the vaccine.
The day they distribute the vaccine, we will be ready to start the distribution. Our review of the FDA protocol will be simultaneous, concurrent with their delivery. We're not going to have any lag in time. But I do want to be able to say to the people of this state, trust the vaccine.
He wants to take his time with the vaccine. He doesn't trust where the vaccine's coming from. These are coming from the greatest companies anywhere in the world, greatest labs in the world. But he doesn't trust the fact that it's this White House, this administration. So we won't be delivering it to New York until we have authorization to do so. And that pains me to say that.
And President Trump says that that Pfizer vaccine, which has shown promise to be effective, will be ready for distribution as soon as April. He says it would first go to the elderly, frontline workers, and those most at risk. Governor Cuomo also said in his interview at NBC that New York is not the only state conducting an independent review of the vaccine. President Trump only talked about the vaccine and the coronavirus during that press conference and took no questions. Reporting live in the newsroom, Rana Novini, News 4 New York.
All right, Rana, thanks for the breakdown on that today. And NBC News today projected winners in the final two states in the race for the White House. President Trump takes North Carolina. President-elect Joe Biden is the apparent winner in Georgia. Now, the projected electoral college count now 306 to 232. There's no concession from the president yet, but the president got as close as he's been to publicly admitting loss when he did speak just this afternoon.
This administration will not be going to a lockdown. Hopefully whatever happens in the future, who knows which administration it will be. I guess time will tell. But I can tell you this administration will not go to a lockdown.
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt is following the latest developments right after this newscast. Dave.
We head into the weekend with kind of a mixed bag when it comes to tri-state coronavirus positivity cases. They are down slightly in both New York and New Jersey, but trending up again in Connecticut. In New York City, eyes are focused on the 7-day rolling average. It is ticking ever so close to the 3% threshold, which would trigger public schools to go all remote. And that could hit that threshold as soon as tomorrow. In just about 4 hours, a new curfew goes into effect for New York State businesses in an effort to bring infections down. We have team coverage on both sides of the Hudson on the restrictions and the rising rates. We'll begin with News 4's Andrew Siff, who's in Long Island City with the latest on schools. Andrew?
Well, David, you alluded to it. The 7-day rolling average was 2.6 yesterday, 2.83 today, and that trend is headed in the wrong direction. And the mayor indicated today that as soon as tomorrow, we may get confirmation that schools are closed all across the city. Parents are bracing themselves for remote learning only.
Frustrated for them, yeah, because they're going to be like all day home, sitting in the front of the computer.
While hoping the numbers improve.
I would like the school was open.
They're scrambling to plan now after this warning from the mayor today.
Have an alternative plan for beginning as early as Monday for whatever will help them get through this month if school is not open.
The mayor's rationale, today's citywide COVID-19 positivity rate is 3.09%, and the 7-day average 2.83%, with 3% as the threshold he and the teachers union agreed to this fall. A deal after weeks of protest over whether schools would be safe to open at all.
Unfortunately, we're seeing the rates go up. We have to take additional actions to protect people.
I'm generally not thrilled about hard cutoffs because they don't take into account other factors.
That's Mark Levine, chair of the City Council Health Committee and a COVID survivor himself. Not happy, schools on the verge of closing while restaurants and gyms are still open.
That priority is totally backwards.
And the governor, who has the power to overrule the mayor on schools, today decided not to, urging instead a higher threshold in the future.
I would suggest that the mayor and the teachers union and the parents consider that, because if schools were opened, I think it would be better.
And the mayor said no final decision has been made. They're still hoping to stay below that 3.0 mark, but most people at City Hall are expecting to reach that level in the next few days. And if schools close, the question of when they can open again, that depends on turning around this troubling trend with the virus. We're live in Long Island City. Andrew Siff, News 4 New York.